Hey guys, this is Chris with The Legacy, and we have a really unique Town Hall 8 attack to look at here. Frank came up with a GoWiLo attack, so that's golems, wizards, and balloons. Now, in order to motivate why he did that, let's take a look at this base and see what's going on real quick. Now, this is one of those typical moat type of bases where you have the majority or all of your anti-air located in the core, with this buffer area running around two rings. You have an outer ring and an inner ring. And the design basically is for you to drop your troops somewhere on the outside and just have them run around this outer ring and get destroyed by the core. In particular, it's supposed to defend against dragons. Now, the standard types of attacks against this base at the Town Hall 8 level would either be a HoLo type of attack, which is hogs and balloons, or ironically, a dragon attack. Now, I did end up taking this space with dragon, so I'll go over that attack in another video. But let's focus on the HoLo type of attack first, because it's very similar to the ideas that Frank goes with. Now, with a HoLo attack, you usually lead with your balloons, and you kind of clear a path for your hogs to get into the core. So, for example, you would want to be dropping 2 or 3 balloons on each of these structures after luring. Now, it does seem a bit wasteful, but you're not using any spells, and with all 3 heals left over, and there's only 5 archer towers in the core, there's the enemy king, and as it turns out there are 2 Tesla in the core, with 3 heals, there's just no way 8 to 12 hogs aren't going to knock that out. And you can even just double heal it to begin with, and you're not even going to lose a hog probably, and then finish off the top like that, or save it up for the wizard tower even higher up. So that's kind of like a standard approach, maybe more so at the Town Hall 9 level, because level 6 balloons are a lot better than level 5. But I have seen it at Town Hall 8. Now, on a first attack, it might be a little bit harder to pull it off. And this was actually the first attack on the base, so we didn't know 100% where the traps were coming in. And if you'll notice, there is a 2x4 spot here and here below the Town Hall in the core, which could potentially house giant bombs. And it is likely that this guy is guarding against hogs. If you look around the south end of this base, you have all these spring trap spots here, which are designed to guide hogs through them. So with that, I'd probably guess he also got a double bomb configuration in the core. As it does turn out, the double bomb is going to be on the left-hand side, and he's going to have the Tesla on the right over here. I think I lost my double bomb. Now, not knowing that beforehand, with a HoLo attack, you don't have many hogs. There's not a lot of maneuverability to detonate the double bomb safely and have enough hogs left over, especially with how deep double bomb is into the base. Now, on a second attack, knowing where the double bomb is, maybe you could come in slanted to the left like that and set off the bomb sequentially, but if you didn't know where they were coming in, you could get into a lot of trouble just running your hogs straight in from the bottom. So that's maybe a reason why we wouldn't want a HoLo on our first attack here. Now, Frank kind of takes the HoLo attack and turns it around backwards with his GoWiLo. What he's going to do instead of taking out the ground structures first and leaving the anti-air for his hogs, he's going to take out the anti-air first with his golems and wizards, and then finish off the cannons and mortars with his balloons. So the basic idea here, it's kind of like a standard go wipe open, where you drop your 2 golems in like that, and then spread your wizards around behind. It is important to get wizards on the side out here like this to knock out these outer structures. Otherwise, you can easily start pathing around the inner ring with your wizards, and it's important to focus everything on the core. Now, there's 2 things here that are really worth pointing out. One is he's going to actually add in 2 hogs on either mortar here. And the point of that is, if he doesn't account for these mortars, it could very likely be the case that after his golems get into these cannons, the next closest tower could be these mortars. I mean, it's a bit too close to say if they would go to the archer tower at the bottom or the mortars. But even more so, if his wizards are working up and knock out this archer tower quickly, these golems could get stranded at the mortars and then more so move on to these wizard towers. And as soon as that happens, the raid's over. His golems are going to run around the outside of the base and tanking nothing and just die. And then all of his wizards are just going to be totally exposed in the core with no defense, because he is relying on the golems to keep his wizards alive. So very, very critical here that he takes out these mortars as quickly as possible, and the most efficient way to do that is with 2 hogs on either one. So that was really a great job and good insight by Frank. The other thing he does here, which is really unique, and I generally think this is terrible, is he uses an earthquake spell to open up all this wall section. Now, I'm generally a huge earthquake hater because I think using 4 spell slots for something that, a 2-slot jump could take care of is incredibly inefficient, especially when going for a 3-star attack. Now, granted, at the Town Hall 8 level, you don't have a jump spell, so there's a little bit more motivation, but how many bases do you attack where you only need 1 spell to knock the base out? It's not many. So it's only going to leave him with 1 spell left over. But, if you notice, after he just rages through the core, he doesn't need heals on his balloons to finish off the top of the base. He's able to just drop these in, 1 on each of these ground towers, maybe 2 or 3 on that wizard tower. There is this 2x2 spot up next to the wizard tower that, you might expect a Tesla there, so drop another balloon in. But the point is, you don't need spells anymore. So after he knocks out the core, he's free to just roll up the top of the base. And for that reason, I think Earthquake actually worked out really well here. And that's probably the only time I'll ever say that. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get into the attack and see what happens. So something nice about the way he starts this off is he uses a single barbarian to pull the dragon out. And that's really a pretty big flaw on this base's part. You don't ever just want to give away your clan castle troops to a single barbarian, especially with how he tried to centralize his clan castle. Just a big fail right there. At least make them use a hog or something, because now Frank has an extra wizard to use that he wouldn't have otherwise had. So rolling through the clan castle dragon real quick, Frank knocks it out without losing a wizard. So very well done. We're going to zoom back out and watch the golems. This is going to be like a standard go wipe type of approach. Wizards are clearing those side buildings, so there's no distractions within the base. Now at this point, those critical hogs are going to come in and knock out those mortars. Again, this is really going to focus those golems into the core and not even give them an option to go anywhere else. And now, even though not much has happened yet with this attack, I'd say it's pretty much over. He's just going to roll through the core with those giants, his hero. He's got a rage and 2 golems to help tank. And there's just no way those 4 archer towers are going to have any say about it. So at this point, with the anti-air going down, the balloons are going to start coming in. And you just don't even need a heal. There's just nothing other than 1 more wizard tower left at this point that's going to do anything. I guess that Tesla. So overall, very creative attack. It took full advantage of the flaws in this base. Anytime you try to specialize your base to prevent one type of attack, you open it up to something you might not think of, and here is the example. And as always, it's really nice to see something different than the constant hog that happens at the Town Hall 8 level. So that's going to wrap things up as we see the balloons roll through the base. We had a GoWiLo attack here against a somewhat common type of moat base. This is Chris with The Legacy. Thanks for watching.